Sophia realized that the family curse of their female lineage had apparently caught up with her. Sophia's sister had passed away at 30, their mother had managed to live to 40. Sophia was now 32. I guess it was time to go after her mom and sister. Honey, don't give up. Fight for yourself. Alex seemed to support her, but she hadn't believed her husband for a long time. He was too relieved when he ran away from home. This morning he said he was going away for the whole weekend, leaving her alone again. But how great was the beginning of their story of acquaintance. It was like a movie. After Mom was gone, they were raised by their stepfather. He was a good father, although not very emotional. You could not hear a kind word from him, but the sisters were well-groomed, they were fed on time, no one hurt them. What else could you ask for from a man who wasn't even related to them? It's good that he didn't put them in an orphanage. When Sophia turned 18, it turned out that her stepfather had a stepson from his ex-wife. They had long ago separated because the wife had remarried. Stepfather, as it turned out, all this time hid his son. And now his mother was gone, Alex came to get acquainted. Older sister Anna chuckled. Too bad he's kind of like her brother. Look how handsome he is. Alex was really very handsome, ruddy, brown-eyed, slender. And the guy also had a great cheerful and friendly character. Alex was educated and followed in his father's footsteps, becoming a doctor. Anna, what kind of brother is he to us? He's not even related to our stepfather. Just stepfather is a good, decent man, once adopted, continued to provide. Sophia immediately, as they call it, fell for Alex. He seemed to her a real prince. Anna has always been funny and immediately reassured her sister that she does not claim Alex. I have a fiancé of my own. Wow, what beauties you both are. Alex admired her in turn. Sophia and Anna didn't look alike at all, but each of them was really good in her own way. Sophia, red-haired, fragile beauty with porcelain skin and doll face. Anna, blood with milk, a tall, statuesque blonde with blue eyes. But you like the redhead better, don't you? Anna continued to giggle. The boy didn't answer anything, it was silly to justify himself. He really did single out Sophia right away. Their sympathy was mutual. Everything was going great. And only when her sister was gone, Sophia remembered that her grandmother and mother had barely made it to 40. So when she fell ill and the doctors couldn't find any cause, it was quite frightening. She was just getting weaker every day and no one could help her. Sophia knew very well that Alex was a philanderer and she had found it out much earlier, before the unknown illness came to her, which took more and more strength every day. At first, her husband had disguised himself, pretended that he had a lot of work to do. Then he stopped giving reasons altogether. Sophia, we're adults. I'm sick of your sour face. And you're not giving me a baby. It's no wonder I need a place to rest my soul. I'm sorry, but you're a bore. That's what her husband said before she got sick. Alex, why would I have fun? My own sister died. You know, she was also my friend and a little bit of a mom. Do you think it's easy to get over it? Sophia asked. Everyone has problems, but no one's husband is burdened. Sorry, but the wife should be easy, fun, to lift the mood, recharge the man, like a battery. And if you can't provide it, don't complain, Alex said. If I don't suit you, let's get a divorce. Why torture each other? Sophia replied. We can get a divorce. But you should think about it, you don't get younger with age. And besides, who else needs you? Sorry, anyone will go crazy and your seriousness will run away to the side. I bring money into the house, I don't complain, and you're still nagging me. What's wrong with you? Alex once again pretended that a playful correspondence with very explicit photos meant nothing at all. I'm not old, I'm only 28. And you know, if you don't like me, it doesn't mean I'm not suitable for anyone. For some men I will become a favorite, said the wife firmly. Then she still had the strength to argue. Sophia began to prepare for divorce, and a week later began unusual weakness which gradually intensified. She decided that she should postpone everything until she recovered, but time passed and she only got worse. There were days when she couldn't get out of bed for more than half an hour. Alex, though he went out, provided for her, didn't insult her, didn't reproach her for being sick. You can't ask too much of him. Another man could have abandoned her. I don't bring any money into the house, I don't have the strength to work. And I can't even give birth to a child. I can't even cook every day and I can't even clean. I think I should forget about divorce. Just live quietly next to someone who's not the worst. That's what she started to think. The old fluffy Sophia, with a sense of dignity, not allowing herself to belittle, disappeared somewhere. In her place was a sad, pale woman. Even her sparkling red hair had ceased to shine, hanging limply, forlornly. The lights in her gray eyes had gone out. She looked at herself in the mirror and realized. Alex should probably get a medal for not leaving at all. but I'm not sure I'd have any complaints if I'm giving him a lot of trouble. It was getting late. Her husband still hadn't shown up. Sophia therefore decided to go to bed. Suddenly she heard the key turn. Then her husband puffed in the hallway, tapped his feet on the mat, shaking off the snow. "Uncle, where did you bring me?" suddenly asked a thin child's voice. "Don't worry, you'll stay with Aunt Sophia. She is kind," she heard her husband's voice. Sophia stepped out into the corridor on weak legs and saw that her husband was taking off a huge down shawl tied over his coat from a small figure. With a red nose and watery eyes, the girl was so miserable that she seemed more like a little old woman than a child. It was evident that she was shaking with cold. And it was not surprising. Under the old fall coat was worn a very light dress, and the tights on her legs were holey. On her feet were sneakers, also clearly out of season. And the right one had half of its sole fallen off. "Alex, where did you get it?" Sophia asked. She even cried with pity as she tried to rub the child's frozen feet and hands. "Some vagrant was hanging around near our house. He thought I was on my way to work, gave me the girl, and ran off. I didn't even have time to ask him anything. So I figured it was too late. The girl seems all right. You warm her up, feed her. I'll be back tomorrow and we'll take her to the police. I'm in a hurry." Alex was already on the phone with his mistress. Sophia noticed her colorful avatar on the call. "You're a doctor. We should examine her. What if something happens to her? My wife was scared for the baby. She's fine. She's not even wheezing. Her arms and legs are fine, she's just cold. I'm telling you, you'll be fine." Her husband kept insisting. She had no time to object, but Alex kissed her on the forehead and was gone. Like kissing a dead woman, Sophia thought, and she felt sad. But now it seemed it was impossible to think only of herself. She washed the girl, changed her into her blouse. The little girl was about 8, so the blouse turned into a dress. When the guest had eaten, finally calmed down a bit and warmed up, she said her name was Eva. "You get some sleep, Eva, and then you will tell me what happened to you." Sophia hugged the girl and began to rock her. "Auntie, I can't sleep. Uncle Andre is there. He's very nice. He will freeze," she whispered, ran to the window and began to look out for the familiar she was talking about. "Don't open the window, you'll catch cold. Let's make a deal. I'll get dressed, go out and look for him." "What does he look like?" asked Sophia, and thought that if she finds this tramp about whom her husband told her, because of which the girl was worried, an adult will be much easier to find out what happened. "Wouldn't you cheat?" Eva asked. "Of course not," promised Sophia. "You're good." "I believe you," the little girl mumbled and suddenly fell into a deep sleep. At first Sophia was afraid she might have fainted. But her pulse was steady and her breathing was also calm. The girl was just exhausted, that's why she fell asleep instantly. Getting dressed was not so easy. Sophia hadn't been outside for over 2 months. Still, she had to keep her word. She went out and saw no one through the snowstorm. Then she thought the stranger might be hiding somewhere. "Andre, Eva asked me to find you," she said loudly. "The girl is very worried. I won't hurt you. You see, my husband brought me the child and tomorrow we'll have to take her to the police." She walked a little farther forward, but again she saw no one, only the snowstorm was making more and more snowdrifts. Suddenly a hoarse voice came from behind her. "Don't shout like that. I can hear everything perfectly well. Why didn't your husband take the baby to the hospital? I'm standing here and don't know what to do." She looked around and saw a young, shaggy-haired man. He was wearing a tattered, worn-out hat, the kind they say is on fish fur, and the zipper of his jacket had apparently been ordered to live for a long time, so it was fastened with a belt. Khaki pants smoothly flowed into duttocks of indeterminate color. He was young, tall, wiping his frozen hands. His eyelashes were icy, but his blue eyes were lively and kind. Apparently, the man was quite young, just his face was coarse from life on the street. "Why don't you come in?" Eva's worried. "And I don't want to leave her too long, she might start looking out the window again. Besides, I understand you don't want to attract a lot of attention. A couple like this is kind of weird," Sophia said. "Okay. I don't have much to lose. What about your husband? Won't he get in trouble because of me?" the guy asked. "Oh, no. He's away all night with his mistress. It's good if he'll be back at least for dinner. But he'll probably be gone all weekend. It happens all the time." Sophia wanted to make it sound like a joke, but tears came to her eyes. She still couldn't accept the fact that Alex was behaving like this to her. "Yeah, he's a good dog. It's none of my business, but why do you let him do that? You are young, beautiful," surprised Andre. "Do you put up with it because of your apartment?" "No, it's my apartment. It used to belong to my sister and me. And when she was gone, I got it." While we were talking, we reached the entrance. The first thing Sophia did at home was to make sure Eva was asleep and okay. She put her finger to her lips, offered Andre to wash up, gave some of her husband's old clothes for him to change. "And this husband of yours will not be offended?" asked the tramp. "No. I gave him all this and he said that only hillbillies wear such things. So it's just lying around, not worn, but thrown away," Sophia sighed. Fortunately, the clothes were only a size larger than necessary. Andre gladly put on his wife's warm sweater, new jeans, and woolen socks. "Here we go. It's like you've been waiting. You'll find a hat, scarf, gloves, and boots, too. They're no longer my husband's, but my late father's. Unfashionable, but they'll last." "I couldn't decide to throw them away," Sophia said. Then she realized that the guests should be fed. Somehow she found the strength to heat up dinner. She was glad that her husband didn't eat with her. Now the unexpected guests had more to eat. "So what happened? Where did you guys come from?" Sophia asked. "You know, it's a very strange story. I sometimes work part-time as a handyman in a cottage community, and my governess asked me to hide the girl for a few days. Said she was in danger. She asked me to dress her like a tramp so we wouldn't be conspicuous. And then she just disappeared, never contacted us. I didn't know what to do." The man spread his hands. He said that after a couple of days he decided to take the girl to the hospital because living in the premises for the watchman where he now lives is clearly not good for the child. When he was approaching his place of work, he noticed an ambulance. So he figured if he gave the kid to the doctors, there'd be no trouble with the police. And so on and so forth. "Do you know anything about Eva's family and who threatened her?" Sophia asked. "I only know that her mother died recently and that's when they hired a governess for her. Amelia is a very nice woman. She and I grew up in the same orphanage." He didn't say that the child had been mistreated. The tramp explained. "I see. You know what? Stay here. My dead sister's husband is a policeman. I'll ask him to find out everything he can and you won't have any problems." Andre explained that he had no documents because he had run away from the orphanage when he was still a teenager so that he would not be taken away by his father who had returned from prison and married a lady with no criminal record. His father wanted to make Andre an accomplice thief and had already given a paw to someone, but he did not want to be a thief. So he wandered around living off casual earnings. A meeting with the police without documents was a dubious event. That's what he was afraid of. The next morning, her husband called and said that he was delayed for another 24 hours and that it was possible to take the girl to the police a day later. It won't solve anything. Sophia did not tell him about the tramp, let her husband have fun, and at least she would help people. "Aunt Sophia, good morning. How wonderful that you found Andre." Eva looked much better. Her cheeks were flushed and she looked like a normal home child, only a little exhausted. Of course he was worried about you himself. "And now everything will be all right." "Who hurt you?" Sophia asked. "My daddy. You see, he thought I was his daughter. And when my mom got sick, I asked him to find some other dad. And he said, I'm not his daughter and he doesn't want me. He started drinking some brown liquid, chasing me. And then the governess Amelia decided to hide me," Eva explained. "Well, we'll think of something. The main thing is that you're alive and well," Sophia said. "You know, when I fell asleep last night, some uncle came. He called your name and I woke up. He poured something into the water jug and didn't notice me," Eva said suddenly. "Wait. What uncle?" She showed a picture of her husband. Eva shook her head negatively. Then suddenly she saw a picture of Sophia's stepfather above the sofa and shouted with joy. "It was him who came. That's him. That's him. Strange. He seems to have been living in another city for a long time. Why would he secretly come and pour something?" Sophia's mind was spinning with the idea that the little girl had just seen the photo on the wall and then dreamt about the man. "You don't believe me?" Eva took offense and then ran to the room where she slept and brought out a cufflink with a picture of a badge of a rowing sports club. "He lost it. And it wasn't a ghost?" Sophia realized it herself. Only her stepfather had such cufflinks. There were more and more mysteries. When the husband of the deceased sister Oleg came, he was very surprised that in the house from somewhere 2 strangers came at once. "Sophia, what happened? Did you marry someone else and have a daughter? And why did not I know?" Was surprised by the husband of the late sister. If everything was so rosy, Sophia told him the whole situation. I see. Then we should take a water sample and install cameras in your house. I'll see what I can find out about Amelia and Eva's family. And also, it looks like we need to help Andre with the documents." "I did not miss anything?" Oleg asked. "No. Only I wanted to ask that Eva and Andre stay with you for a couple of days. You know Alex will throw a tantrum if he sees a handsome stranger living with me. Alex was really very jealous, like all womanizers, living under the motto, everyone needs me and my wife only me. And then not much. He liked to feel like a valuable prize. Okay, all right. I haven't gotten married since Anna died. So the only problem is the mess at home, he said. It's okay, we'll clean it up, Sophia said as if she'd grown wings. By Monday, when Alex came back, they had found out a lot of things. It turned out that Eva's father really decided to give up his rights to her because he found out that it was not his child. In addition, he had been drinking heavily and still filed a report that the girl was missing. As for Amelia, the situation was unclear. She had been in an accident, and while she was in a serious condition, she could not be spoken to. The water was laced with medicine, something between a sleeping pill and a drug that lowers blood pressure. I wonder what the stepfather was counting on. You can't kill with this, Sophia didn't understand. No. But if a person already has low blood pressure, you can seriously weaken it and turn almost into an invalid. And then anything can happen. A person can drown in the bathtub like Anna while her husband is on a business trip. When Oleg said this, his face became gloomy. Well, why is it necessary? Sophia was surprised. Because your mother left you and your sister quite a lot of money. Stepfather forged a power of attorney, and when my wife began to ask questions, she was gone. You, apparently also something interfered with something. It turned out that Oleg did not come to terms with the death of his wife and learned during this time a lot. A similar drug was found in her blood. And he also learned about the connection of stepfather with a corrupt notary. What Sophia had told him made it all clear. It remained to be seen whether the stepfather and his adopted son had colluded. So Sophia had to stay in that dangerous apartment for another week. After that time, it turned out that Alex, although he was a womanizer and a stale man, had nothing to do with the stepfather's crime. Moreover, Alex's mother had also died under similar circumstances, only she had drowned not in the bathtub but in a swimming pool. But what was I doing in his way? Sophia asked. Oh, it so happened that the notary was caught red-handed and interrogated. He was afraid that you would find out about the forgery, so he thought it was worth hastening your death. He has already told everything in the interrogation, explained Oleg. And Mom? What happened to her? Sophia asked. This we will never know. But I can say one thing, the only family curse is the stepfather. And he will be held accountable for his actions. When Amelia came to her senses, she testified that Eva's father really should be deprived of parental rights. But he wanted it himself. It turned out that Eva's biological father also did not want to know anything about her. She went to a rich man, and now she died? Not my problem. A will? Eva's mom left nothing, and her daughter was not entitled to anything either. Apparently, this is why Eva's mother hid from her husband that she had started dating him when she was pregnant with another man's child. The deceased hoped that her father's heart would be moved and he would not abandon his daughter. But it did not happen. And so Sophia decided to formalize guardianship over Eva and then adopt her. Now she became a rich woman. Wanted to help Andrei, but he decided to study to be a policeman. Oleg said that he would definitely succeed. Sophia let Alex go on a free voyage, and he was quite surprised when his wife said that she had long ago fallen in love with another. She really asked Andrei to live in her apartment so that her husband would stop following her. For some reason, after the divorce, Sophia suddenly became desirable to him and he could not calm down. In decent clothes, Andrei did not look like a vagrant at all, so Alex did not recognize him. And where does your young man work? Alex was indignant. He had to realize what kind of rival he was dealing with. In the police. You can ask Oleg. Sophia decided that it wouldn't hurt if she said that Andrei already worked there even though he was only studying. It helped. Alex, a little worried, chose some other couple from his numerous mistresses. And a few years later, Sophia and Andrei did get married. It so happened that Eva fell in love with them equally and had been demanding a brother for a long time. At first they only laughed and then suddenly realized, from good to good do not look for good. Fate had brought them together, it seems, for a reason. True, the brother appeared far from immediately and only 5 years after Sophia and Andrew married. But here sister was born a couple of years faster. And the girl recognized that when there is both a brother and a sister, it's much better. What was the surprise of the couple when suddenly it turned out that Oleg married Amelia? It turned out that they had been living together for a long time, but for some reason hid it from everyone. Oleg, embarrassed, admitted that he was afraid, Sophia, it will be unpleasant. As if I betrayed the memory of her sister. Oleg, listen. You saved me, helped me find a real family. Anna would be proud of you. If you decided to move on, I think she would not mind at all, only happy for you, Sophia reassured him. Oleg exhaled with relief. Amelia had just gotten pregnant this year and insisted that he tell Sophia and Andre they wanted to be family friends.